Welcome back to Fantastic Paintings and How We Hide Them.
I'm not Karina,
And I'm not Chris.
but we're here together.
Indeed, as usual. And today we're kind of going to do a bit of a part 2 to our changing life plans.
Yes, which is going to be out of order, but you guys can cope, I'm sure. It'll work out.
And be comfortable in the chaos.
Exactly, you're used to it.
It's the only way you survive this. How should we segue in?
Segues are hard. So, let's start with... Oh, I have to explain. The reason there's not a weekly checkup in every episode, it's housekeeping, which is important to some people. Mainly me. We record in mass, so we have our weekly checkup in the first one we record at the end of the week, and then we record a few more, and then we move on.
Yep.
So there'll be one next week, which will be who knows how many episodes away.
Right.
But there will be more. I know it's everyone's favorite part, weekly checkup, but...
You get to hear us whine about our lives for a minute.
It's everybody's least favorite part. Thank God it only happens once every 5 episodes.
Reminder that it is still EDS Awareness Month, so be aware of zebras.
Be aware. Zebras.
We exist.
Or beware zebras.
Beware zebras.
Beware zebras. I mean, that's pretty accurate, too. You can be a aware zebra.
That's true.
I mean, if you wanted to be.
Beware the zebras. We're everywhere. All at once.
Oh, yeah, so this is... I remember what we're talking about. It took me a minute. I was lost in the ether. You know. We were talking about plans changing.
Yes.
Continuing on from that.
Yep.
From last time.
So, both of us are married.
Yes.
Which makes life a little bit more interesting.
I was worried you were going to say easy. I was like,
Nah. Well, and I mean...
It's a yes and a no.
Yes.
They're helpful, but then you feel bad.
Yeah.
So...
Well, and we were both married before we knew what was going on. And so our plans changing...
forced their plans to
exactly.
change.
So we have some guilt around that for sure, where... and I'm sure some of you have this experience too, where your partner's along for the ride. And it's hard, man.
Yeah, no joke.
It's hard. It's hard to, like, feel responsible for someone else's, like, life path.
Yeah.
And having to change that life path.
Right. God, even if they say that they I can't talk anymore. That they're okay with it, or they understand, it still sucks.
Right. Well, and it's hard because you have that, like, this is not what you signed up for.
And you're right.
Yeah. And I've had
Not
that
even
conversation with my husband several times.
Oh yeah, I
I
literally gave Jen a chance, like, this is what's going on now. This is what happens if we stay together. If you want off this crazy wild ride, I understand. I would not be upset. And she was like, stupid. I'm not going anywhere. And I was like, I don't know who's stupid, me or you. I mean, you're still with me.
Man, who wants to, like, hang around and deal with that mess? Well, and it was a learning curve for them.
Oh, God.
By far.
Yeah.
So not only did we have to learn about our own condition,
They had to go through the dark times of us learning, like, not learning and then learning.
Yeah. Not knowing what was going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes even doubt.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Wondering if they'd married crazy people.
Yep. I worried about that a lot.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can only see so many doctors before you doubt yourself. And then I can't imagine how that must be perceived.
Yeah.
Even if you're trusted, like...
Yeah. You're never quite sure.
Yeah. Well, and if you don't talk about it, the self-doubt it's the same thing. You're just going to doubt that they love you.
Right. Exactly. And, like, I always feel like that ball and chain. Like I'm holding him back or weighing him down because he's capable of so much. But then he's also got this backpack of a wife with a lot of health issues, and he takes a lot of time off. And unfortunately, like, because we deal with so many health issues, we don't always take it super seriously.
No,
but we
that's
forget that
yeah.
It's scary for other people.
Which it comes off like we're being really inappropriate a lot of the time, even though we're just making light of the situation.
Yeah.
But it's a lot more serious than we let it be.
Right.
from outside
it's that,
eyes.
Like, protective thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's never a big deal. Like, when I had surgery and I came out of anesthesia and I just decided breathing was not important. And so every time I would doze off, I would just stop breathing and my O2 stats would plummet. And my poor husband sitting beside the bed. And it took me like 3 days
to understand.
To like understand and reconcile that, like, I'm so sorry. That must have been really like upsetting and scary for you to go through.
Yeah, you
and
just
I'm in the corner
breathing.
going, wee.
I mean, you were intoxicated at the time, technically.
Very.
But even though, like, the days afterwards.
Yeah.
I get that.
It took me a minute to like realize, like, that was probably really uncomfortable and scary for you to go through. And I'm sorry that I was not taking it seriously at all.
I just realized I probably did that to Jen when I did my back surgery. I never connected that. She sat there the entire time. And I was really bad at the beginning because I refused to take the morphine because I was like, I don't want to be the drug peddler. I'm not a bad person. So I refused morphine after major back surgery where they opened up my spine and took out not cancer, but a tumor.
Little nerve tumor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I woke up bawling my eyes out like when the anesthesia wore off, and the nurse came in. She's like, "What's wrong? Are the meds not working?" I was like, "I don't want to take them because I don't want you guys to think badly of me."
Well, and my poor husband, the first few days, like, I wasn't in pain, but I was messed up.
Yeah.
Because nerve block is bad. Never again. Never, ever again.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wary of them now.
Yeah. I think they did nerve damage, because this hurts worse than shingles.
Yeah. Well, and the first one I did ruined my right arm for a long time. I lost feeling in it.
I think we just don't deal with whatever it is well at all. Because it hurts worse than the shingles did. And it comes in like these fiery spurts.
It's got to be nerve.
Oh, it's terrible. And they're like, oh, they're just waking up. And I'm like, dude, it's been 8 weeks.
If they're
a nerve block is not supposed to be 8 weeks long. Like,
that just means they're in a coma.
Yeah.
You have a nerve coma.
Nerve coma.
Oh, God.
Dang it, why am I missing out on that?
I mean, just be happy that your leg gets a break.
Yeah. But I think it's important to acknowledge that our spouses go through a lot, just vicariously.
Oh, yes. Jen, especially, because she does a lot of the scheduling and dealing with doctors. Because I get really timid when I meet doctors.
Yeah.
I'm not good at explaining my situation to new people. I'm like, oh, it's like a connective tissue disorder. Like, I'm a little stretchy.
Downplay.
Like, everything's fine. I don't know why I'm here. I'm sorry for wasting your time. I'm gonna
go. Yeah, I know that feeling.
Yeah.
It took me a while to get out of there and be like, I need to take charge of what's going on.
I've gotten better. But having Jen around, like, it's almost to the point now where the doctors are annoyed when she comes with because she'll just talk over me. I'll be trying to explain it, and she's like, actually, it's more like this. I'm like...
It's like when I go with you. I just keep you honest.
It's worse. Like,
because she lives with you. She knows.
She sees it on the daily.
Yeah. Whereas, like, with Randy, I don't know. And I'm cagey. And that's just how I am built. Yeah. I keep all of that stuff, like, really close to my chest. And so I keep him, like, updated on what's going on. But he never goes with me. And I never, like, ask him to go with me, I don't think. Because it feels weird.
Yeah, I bet.
For me, it feels like it's just, like... It's bizarre. Because sometimes he doesn't know all of what's going on. Like, I don't tell him when I throw up 3 times in a day half the time.
I didn't used to. It's like when we were talking about it in one of the other episodes, that you have to communicate with your spouse. I got really good at it to the point where I'm just like, Jen, I don't feel good. She's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Or, Jen, I just threw up a bunch. Sorry.
Pretty much. Well, and, like, teaching them that that's what we wanted.
Yeah.
And not the, like, oh my God, are you okay? Like, that's not what we're after here.
Right.
But with him, because he's, like, very male brain in that, like, fix-it vein of things.
Yeah, well, he wants to, yeah.
And then he gets frustrated, and then I feel guilty because I'm frustrating him because he can't help me. And so I kind of, like, keep it close to me.
When I had my meltdown, Jen went through that same thing because I was literally bawling on the floor. I was, like, in pain because I had no pain meds. It was post-back surgery.
Oh, yeah.
It was when I quit.
It was when they messed up your
Yeah.
medications.
They fought over who was going to give you the medications.
And then no one did.
And then I dropped that clinic because of the fuckery. And I was just done with it, everything in general. That was horrible. But Jen was like, she started crying, and I was like, well, what? Like, I'm sorry, I didn't. She's like, there's nothing I can do for you, and I just don't want you to hurt me more. I was like, I get it, but it's the boat I'm in. Yeah. I didn't say that. I was crying, and I was snot everywhere. And
you're like, I want you to be able to help me, but you can't.
Yeah, I just kind of rolled over and kept crying.
Yeah.
But.
And it's like, it's a different kind of vulnerability.
Yeah.
And a different kind of intimacy to be in pain in view of others.
Right. Even talking about it.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's different. It is. It's a very, like, I think intimacy is the right word. Yeah. Sorry, that just popped into my head, and, like, that seems right to me. It's a very, like, intimate experience to go through it with somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And I've never had to do that, really. So I don't know what it's like for them on that end, necessarily. Like, I'm aware of it in the back of my mind, but at the same time...
I grew up taking care of my mom. So, like, I've always had that, like, perception, I guess. Like, knowing what it's like to be unable to help, but wanting to.
Right.
I get that, because my mom was going through hard times all the time growing up.
Yeah.
Which was not fun.
Yeah.
If she listens to this, I know it wasn't that bad. Shut up.
But for small child.
Right.
When you're like, I want to fix it.
Right. Yeah.
Help my mommy.
Get off my back. I know you're going to talk to me about this. Later. Not in the middle of a podcast. This is really inappropriate.
You can feel the glare coming through.
I'll talk to you later. Just relax. Breathe. I love you.
But yeah, no, it's an interesting experience. And then them having to learn it all. Like, I remember after my first shoulder surgery, my only shoulder surgery, my first surgery.
You said it didn't even register. Like,
right. My husband came to me and he was it was interesting. It was like he had just realized all the things that I had always been thinking about. Like, it's going to get worse over time. And we're aware of that as a fact. So it's never like a worry necessarily, but you know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And for him, it had just hit him at that point where he was like, surgery is not going to fix you.
Right.
And like, there is no fixing me. There is only making it suck less.
Yeah.
And I think that was really hard for him because he like had it in his head that once I got the surgery, I'd be better.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's one thing. That's one thing. We are undoing 20 some odd years of damage. And constantly committing more damage.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have a life, right?
Right, exactly.
You want to move.
Yeah. So it's different. It's interesting. And I think it took him a while to kind of reconcile that this was going to be my normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it made him feel better when I told him that, like, no, I do think about those things. Yeah. I do think about what it's going to be like down the line. I do think about that I probably won't make it to retirement. I'm a teacher, by the way.
Humble brag. Weird flex, but okay.
I use education language a lot, so that's why I am a special education teacher.
And that's why I'm not Karina.
And I'm definitely not Chris.
Ouch. That just felt painful. That's why I'm definitely... Oh, God. Could you imagine? Oh.
Oh, no.
Rude. I'm right here.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Well, someone has to.
That's another part, like letting them love us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to get over the hurdle of knowing that you're going to hurt them just by existing.
Right.
And being okay with that. And being okay with them being okay with that.
Right.
Because you love them.
That's the hard part. Is like, I want to set you free.
Exactly. I don't want you to be caged here.
Right. Like, I'm holding you back. We're not going to make as much money as we would if you were married to, like, someone who's going to be functional until they're 65 years old.
Unless this podcast becomes the #1 podcast in the world.
Yeah, guys, we're looking at you. Get on it. I don't want to work anymore. That's not true. I love what I do.
Love your work.
I love what I do.
And you're good at it.
And luckily, I'm extremely lucky and extremely grateful to be where I am. I have extraordinary coworkers who really care about kids and are so kind and forgiving with me, it makes a huge difference to be able to say, like, I need a couple more hours to get myself together.
That's something I want people to comment on too, actually. I want to see what other people's experiences with work, because our brother is having a real hard time with work.
Well, and he has a hard time. He's like you. Like, he doesn't advocate for what he needs.
Nope.
Whereas
we don't believe in that life.
Right. And I learned kind of early on that I needed to drop pieces kind of along the way.
Yeah.
So that it was a consistent line of, like, this is what's going on with me. I'm still good at what I do. I am capable of what I'm doing, but this is the challenge that I face on a daily basis. And so I had to learn to be really unusually open about everything. And that's where that, like, separation of me and body had to be, where I could give all of this information about my body while still protecting
you got to
myself.
give the status update.
Right.
What's going on with the body, and then what you're capable of.
Yeah. And having them be different but work in the same track.
Yeah. But I want those comments.
Yeah.
I need them. Not even if they're bad. That sounds mean. I just need to know what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I'm definitely very curious as to other people's experiences.
Yeah, that's a big part of this. I want to know more about other people's life experiences with it.
Yeah.
So, like, write your life story. Go for it.
How long did you work? What did you do?
Well, see, I work. Oh, not me. We're not. Okay. Fine.
I mean, we could talk about your work too.
No, it's not worth it. It'll just make me sad.
I know. I get sad sometimes because I'm like, I love what I do, but am I going to be able to do it forever?
If you keep up with it,
yeah.
I mean, I could see it lasting until retirement if you're on it. You know what I mean? Like surgery, recovery, every summer having to do multiple, maybe
different things, and like keeping up with different therapies.
Yeah, but life is a long story filled with sighs.
Right. Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Sometimes I think it's too long. I have that thought a lot where I'm like, God dang it, I'm awake again.
I figured that I would be the one dropping the darkest words and sentences in this.
I'm morbid.
I'm morbid too, but I can contain it.
I can't.
You just let it. You flaunt it. You're like, you know what's a great way to let yourself down? Set a goal. You're gonna fail it. Have fun.
Yeah, relationships are interesting with EDS. Just
I can't imagine what it would be like to know what you're having, like your situation, and go into it. Like, that must be difficult, like dating with EDS.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
You'd need someone who, like, really understands what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, and it's hard because, like, our spouses didn't sign up for it. So, like, part of me is like, we trapped them.
Yeah, it's like, the way my brain equates it is that I captured an animal and I trained it to like me, even though it was better off on its own. I domesticated Jen, and she doesn't know that she doesn't need me.
Yeah. Yeah. I had this fear for a long time that he was just going to outgrow me, and then he would move on.
I mean, that's still a legitimate fear that I have.
Blamed him for it. Like, I would willingly let you go, but
they won't take the out. We give them the out, and they won't take it.
Yeah. Dumb fucks.
Just with their love and...
So should we go into loss of independence? I think that's important.
This is one I got from TikTok, because I don't think about it. I used to think about it a lot, and I used to mourn it a lot. But this lady was mourning her loss of independence and realizing that she's going to be more and more dependent on the people around her to do simple things, and that really got to her.
That's hard.
Oh my God.
Like, and mourning is absolutely the right word.
Yeah.
Because essentially you're mourning the life that you could have had.
Oh God, when you say it that way.
But it's true.
No, it is. It hit hard when you said it.
Like you've got this life path in front of you, and then you've got a flat tire, and you've got to go like.
Well, and that brings in, like, you're bringing your family into it, your loved ones, and you're gonna need them. Yeah. Like, I can't imagine how you would cope without.
Well, even just recovering from surgery is really hard to like rely on somebody. I remember my mother-in-law hated it. It drove her crazy. She's like, I'm doing things for you. And I just like felt guilty because part of you is like, I'm capable. I don't need you to do it for me.
That was me and Papa, our grandfather. would all the time, like, what can I do for you? And I'd be like, no, I'm fine, I can do this.
Yep.
And he would just sit there knowing that I'm doing something stupid and that he could help.
Well, I do it like even on crutches.
Oh,
People
yeah.
were like, can I hold the door for you? And I'm like, no, I figured it out. I have learned how to like function on crutches. And so when people would hold the door, I was like, oh, you didn't have to do that.
At least you don't yell at them and like get upset at them.
No, I never get like upset, but I do feel like you feel like a fraud.
Yeah.
Even though like I just had hip surgery, I felt like a fraud.
Well, yeah.
Accepting help or like sympathy or even compliments. People at work would tell me, you're walking so much better.
Oh,
I'm
God.
like, thank you. I really am trying.
The whole thing's complicated.
It is. And it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
To know that you, like, we develop other ways of doing things.
Yeah.
Not necessarily healthy ways of doing things, but like workarounds so that we don't inconvenience others.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, where I'm like, I don't want to be an inconvenience and I don't want to be a burden.
You're fighting for your independence at that point.
Exactly.
Even though it's at the cost of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always fun.
Right. Well, that goes into like mobility aids and
oh man, yeah.
When to.
This is the sorest subject on the list. I don't like mobility aids. I fucking hate mobility aids, and I need them, and it kills me.
Yeah.
Like I need a cane if I'm going to be outside. Like if I'm leaving the house, I have to have a cane because my legs will give out and I will fall down. And for the longest time, I had people like walking up to me like, "You're struggling with that cane. Like, do you need help?" And I was like, "No, I just really don't trust my right leg." Mm-hmm. So I would literally use it instead of my leg. I wouldn't put any weight on it when I would walk, so it would look really dire.
Right.
I've gotten better about it. Post surgery, I've learned to trust it better.
I was noticing because Randy tried to get me on the cane after surgery, but I use it totally wrong because of the instability in holding it like out in front of you, where the elbow pops up and then you lose your ability to hold your weight.
I don't have bad elbows, so I would know about that. Tell me more about your bad elbows.
They're terrible. I hate them. Elbows are stupid.
For dumb people? Yeah. Some people like me who have normal, healthy elbows that can do this.
Yeah, normal and healthy.
Look at it. It doesn't hyperextend or anything. It's perfect.
Wow. What? No.
For people listening at home, what I just did was the most perfect hand extension you'll ever see in your life. It was beautiful. It went straight out. It was perfectly Shut up. Don't touch me. There's nothing EDS about what I just did.
So you gotta like stop yourself.
Yeah,
right
I have to. I'm being very careful.
This is normal humans, and this is where we go.
It was perfect.
Good times.
I don't have elbow problems. Karina does have elbow problems. Yes. I will eventually have elbow problems. I can feel it starting.
Yep.
But I don't have them yet.
Oh, they suck. They're so
annoying. I
don't
want them.
Because it's all about rotation.
Yeah.
And it just turns. And there's 2 bones there instead of 1. So it's extra annoying.
Yeah.
Because you got to get both of them in the right position.
Oh, well, yeah. I wouldn't know anything about that.
You will.
Great.
Wow.
Well, that's exactly the problem,
One
isn't
day.
it? That's exactly what we're talking about is in the future.
Yeah.
Like, things are going to be worse.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's just a fact. Like, for us, it's a fact. Yeah. But, like, when you say it out loud, people, like, you get that, like, you're a defeatist or...
Right. Even just now when you said it, I was like, I had to tell myself it is a degenerative...
Yeah.
Like,
condition.
Diagnosis. Yeah, like, it is that. Because I don't want to, like, my brain's like, stop being a baby. Like, it's not that bad. Like, but brain, it is that bad. The body will continue to break down.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's does. Just ours are doing it early.
Early and weird.
Yeah, uniquely.
Yes.
They just want to be that peacock, like, look at me. Look what I can do. Why did I do that? I regret everything. Like, well, you wanted to be special, didn't you?
God, that would kill to not be special.
I would kill to not be special.
Right? Like, doctors constantly telling you, wow, that's so interesting.
My God. I need to know.
You're so interesting.
I need to know if anyone else gets that, because we get it all the time. Or, like, you're a mystery. The you're a mystery one bothers me, because that's not helpful.
Right.
I'm glad you're interested, but could you at least put me in, like, the right direction?
That's okay. My cardiologist told me that you're super weird, but it's not gonna kill you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay.
I had a lady who was trying to be really calm, but she was kind of like freaked out when she was measuring the heart before back surgery. She's doing an echo, not an echo,
EKG.
No, we did the EKG, and I think there was something like slightly off, but nothing dire. But you know how that is. It was the sonogram, not sonogram, the one that you did for your lump.
Oh, ultrasound.
Ultrasound, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
They were doing an ultrasound, and the flaps were like Benji's.
They slap each other, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And she was trying to be like perfectly calm and like not alarm me, and I was like, oh no, I get it.
That's what my sometimes heart murmur is.
Yeah.
But I only sometimes have a heart murmur, which is hilarious.
It's selective heart murmur.
Yeah.
It's only when no doctor is around you. It's an ability that
well,
we
no,
have.
the doctors found it. I didn't know I had
well,
one.
Okay,
and they
one
were
time.
Like...
one time out of the like billions that you go in.
It was so funny too, because he comes up and he's like, did you know you have a heart murmur? And I was like, no, I just came for fluids. Like, I'm here for POTS and dysautonomia, and I just need fluids. And they were like, well, you have a heart murmur. And then they rehydrated me and checked again, and there was no heart murmur. And then later, my doctor found it. He was like, it's like 1 in 5. And then when they did the EKG, no, it was the ultrasound. They did an ultrasound, and it was that same thing
flappy.
where the valves slap each other.
Yeah.
Or like inside the chamber.
Yeah, that's what I got
Super
going
weird.
on.
Yeah. So they go, you're really weird, but it won't kill you.
Yeah.
Or we're very interesting.
I mean, that's the polite way.
One. Yeah.
That's how a doctor.
I don't want to be interesting though. I want you to know how to help.
That's why I like David, because I went in to talk to him yesterday, right? And instead of like spending the entire time talking and arguing over what it is, dust mote. He went off onto a tangent about, literally, we were talking about like the fatigue and the exhaustion, and he's like, you know what I think is amazing? Abraham Lincoln chose to set the slaves free. Like, he knew that was going to kill him. He knew that choosing that would lead to his death. Could you imagine that? And I'm just like,
you're like, sorry, what?
I mean, yeah, that's really fucking amazing, but
what?
He's just shooting the shit instead of like going on and on about
that.
It was refreshing, you know?
Yeah. Well, and I've also had doctors tell me constantly that like they love my attitude about things.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
But only male doctors. Female doctors, if they don't find me funny...
Male doctors love her, female doctors hate her.
Yeah.
She's got 10 tricks that'll lead you right to the ER. These 10 secret tips will lend you a path right to the ER. 1, fall down the stairs.
I was going to say, jump off the roof. Don't do that.
That's something I did.
Jump into volcano. What?
You're not going to the ER after that. I'm sorry. There is no way. That's endgame. That's you jumped into a volcano, idiot. The doctor will show up and go, yeah, they're dead.
I just keep seeing like Cyanide and Happiness playing out in my brain.
Your brain is Cyanide and Happiness.
There you go. Exactly. So yeah, no, I usually get like either they find me funny and they think I'm like great, or they find me flippant and they don't like that.
I feel like that's going to be the viewer base. People are going to either think you're funny or think you're flippant.
Yeah.
Don't be so flippant.
Don't be so flippant.
You got to treat it seriously. But, I mean, there's a point where I would take it seriously, like, because I know there are people that have way worse EDS than we do, right? And I feel really bad for them. And then it makes me feel like I don't count. You know what I mean? Like, since I'm not wheelchair bound or I don't have a feeding tube yet, I might have to get a feeding tube eventually because I still have the swallowing problem. But
I know we're going to find out when we do the stomach emptying scan how bad it is.
Man,
I'm not looking forward to that.
I skipped that appointment.
I'm like, can we just like take that section out and not have to do
the swallow test? Yeah, but it makes me feel invalidated because I'm like, it's not severe enough to be like, you know, the really severe people.
Yeah.
I mourn for you.
Well, and that's why like I don't like comparing pain. Like I think everybody's experience is so unique and so different, and like even you and I have like we share a lot of symptoms, but we also go through things that the other doesn't or won't yet. and like different severities and different
Yeah.
ways of handling it. And I think like you and I'm trying to figure out how to organize this thought. The way we handle pain is very similar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it comes from a trauma background.
Right.
Where it's funny or we die. But that like throws other people off really hard.
Yeah. Well, I don't blame them, honestly, but
Right. They're like, that's terrible. And I'm like, no, that's hilarious.
do you ever get the people who don't want to talk to you about things that are going on in their lives because they don't want to?
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to bother you. I know what's going on.
Right. They're like, my pain doesn't. I know what you're going through. I don't want to burden you with.
Well, we went through a phase with that where
yes,
to each other. And
yeah.
Our little brother still does it. He's like, oh, I didn't want to bother you. I know you guys.
He watches
no,
these.
Shut up.
He GG'd my knees.
I know. I saw that.
I folded. What you gonna do about it? Show up and stop me.
We'll get him on here one day.
Yeah.
Ow.
One day.
That was a little violent. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I have a problem with that when people are like, I just don't want to tell you about it. I hurt myself, but it's not that bad.
Right.
It's not like you're allowed to feel pain.
Yeah.
The worst pain you felt is still the worst pain you've
Right.
felt.
Well, it's like we talked about, like schema and depth of knowledge. Like
Yeah.
our well of knowledge for pain is deeper.
Right.
But that doesn't make it a worse experience necessarily.
Exactly.
Because everybody's threshold is their threshold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same, I don't know, like mental processes at different levels.
I just hope there aren't people who watch this and go, they don't have real EDS. Not like me. I have you know what I mean?
The real EDS.
I have real terminal EDS. I'm
full-blown EDS.
As it is.
ESDS. The full-blown kind.
Yeah, it's incurable.
That's the other part that's interesting, is it's a total mystery where we will wind up. Because like I said, there are people who make it into their 40s without a diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are people who are like, I was diagnosed, but I didn't know. Like, and then you have people like Dad who pass it along, but don't experience.
Here, I give this to you. It is my lineage.
I will gift you my horrible genetics.
I mean, there's great genetics and horrible genetics.
I know, we're cute, but broken.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm cute. Jeez. You're gonna make me blush.
Do it.
I'm doing it. I can control my blushing.
I cannot.
All I can do is make myself blush. I can't stop it.
I flush in one ear or the other.
I wish I could control. I wish I could control the flushing. That would be a fucking fantastic thing. Like, oh, I don't want to feel hot and sweaty anymore.
Right? Oh man. And I'm not hot, but my hands and feet are so sweaty.
Yep. Well, that's the curse.
And night sweats.
That's the dysautonomia.
I hate the night sweats. If they could do something about that, that would be
lovely. They can. It's called removing your sweat glands.
Please do.
I don't think it's worth it.
I'll just overheat. It's fine.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
I'll just learn how to roll around in the mud. Like
You're
animals.
gonna have to have a little mud puddle next to you at night so you can flop into it, roll around, and then get back into bed.
And that was when my husband moved my bed outdoors.
That was the final straw. That was when he was like, you know what? I'll take that pass. I don't want to be next to a warthog. That's where I draw the line. Warthog EDS, straight up done. Then why did you let me get the surgery? I didn't know you would turn into this.
You bought the mud.
What did you think it was for? Patio repairs?
We're mud jacking my sweat glands.
Yeah, see, I hope this doesn't offend people. The whole point isn't to offend.
No, not at all. This is just our experience. And like I said, part of it, I think, is the trauma background.
Yeah.
Where, like I said, it's funny or I die. And that was a rule early on with my husband. I was like, there is no feeling sorry for me.
You are not allowed
There
to
is
feel.
only ha-ha.
You will have ha, ha, or ha. And that's it. No more.
Choose one. Or all.
All is acceptable.
It's like when my posts on Facebook fall flat, and people are like, sad face. And I'm like, no. There is no sad face. There was only haha.
Those are the ones that I like, because those are the ones that I know you're being funny, so I look like a fucking monster for going, like, laugh my ass off.
Funny.
When I'm like, I love this post.
Poor Karina. I'm like, don't pour me, blah. Blah. That's just about as bad as the, like, you're so strong, or you're an inspiration.
Yeah, does that drive anyone else nuts? Because it drives me nuts.
Ugh.
That boy is a warrior. It was nice hearing that the first time, though. When I was told that, I needed to hear that.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, I was having a bad time. But it is still, like, if someone said that to me now, I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Right.
I'm not strong. I don't know.
It's like I could die or make breakfast. Yeah. It doesn't make me strong for choosing breakfast.
Death or cake?
Cake or death. Take your pick.
I choose...
cake, please.
Death. I mean cake.
Damn it. Ah, you said death first.
I'm glad you caught that. I just throw them up and you catch them.
All the memery.
Oh, hey there, Mike. Sorry about that. I'm always abusing mine.
Just putting your knees through it on the daily.
Yeah.
Did we cover everything? Yeah, I think we mostly did.
Yeah, there's a lot of tangents, but it was still good.
Yeah.
Hopefully. You tell us.
Oh, we talked a little bit about mobility aids and, like, knowing when to go into it.
We'll talk more about mobility aids, because I have some experience with mobility aids. I just don't like them. I hate them.
I tried braces for a long time.
We already know about your history with braces.
Yeah. Like, we just still dislocate inside of the braces, and it hurts worse.
Right, because it's holding it in the worst position.
Right. Well, thanks for coming along with us. I know it was a little bit of a darker theme.
Yeah.
But I think we kept it funny.
Yeah, kept it light.
Anyone you need a laugh, you can just look at my
face. Will understand. Hopefully. Hopefully we're not offending everybody. I'm sorry if I did. I'm irreverent.
Irreverent, good word. Yeah. I use flippant a lot because that was the one that flippant. I got told. I was told I was flippant.
Then I should use the word defeatist.
Defeatist?
I'm defeatist. Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to defeatist this and just call it.
Defenestrate.
I'm going right out that window. Out that window. Right out that window as soon as this ends. So just next podcast from the ER. Here we go. 10,000 likes.
Yes.
All right.
All right. We'll see you in the next one.
Yup. Bye.
Bye.